never learned how to read.
Would you kindly?
Parker,
I broke
you're
something.
a
Yes.
Parks and Rec fan, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Do you like my new City of Pawnee t-shirt?
Let's go.
I'll park
Let's
your
go.
Rex.
Go. What was it? Go. I need to preface that this is a reference to the show, not a thing I actually say. Go, drunken savages.
I'll dunk the savages.
No, that's literally what their name is.
I think
Oh
that's
my
going to be the
God.
start of the
Team.
episode of the podcast.
What do you mean? We've already talked about other stuff. Just throw it
me
in there.
yelling, "Go, drunken savages."
Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh,
Listen, you could just do a cold open, and then we just say hi, everybody.
We could, but say opening the first ever of our new podcast, Scheduling Conflicts, with him saying "Go Savages," and like I can even cut out the part where he says, "This is because they say it on the show," and just have it open with that. I mean,
it wasn't an inherently offensive line. If you don't know the
Exactly.
full context of the joke, it's not completely offensive.
exactly.
I mean, just nothing offensive about being a savage.
yeah.
In the context of the show,
Oh, it's
yeah,
bad.
it's the point. Like there's a lot of like, and it's done in like to be satirical.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of the way a lot of indigenous people are treated in North America is a very strong point of topic in that show. Both as a plot
In
point
Park
and
and
as a
Recs.
point of the jokes. Yeah.
In Park and Recs.
Yeah.
Nick
Like, there's
Overman, right?
Yes.
like it's a huge part of writing, and like the show doesn't reinforce them, but it pokes fun at how
Yeah.
Fair.
well how a lot of them
Again,
are treated.
it's one giant satire show for multiple seasons.
It's
Makes
so
sense.
good though. It's
It
so
is.
good.
It is. Oh, I gotta show you something real quick.
Ben White is one of the best characters. He's so good.
Yeah, but he's no Duke
Oh.
Silver.
Ladies and gentlemen, Duke Silver! I just remember screaming because Carmen watched that show long before me, and it finally went on Netflix years back, and I was watching it. And she was like, "You just need to let me know when you get to Duke Silver." I'm like, "What the hell's a Duke Silver?" Is there like okay, whatever. And then somebody's just like, "Make sure when you get to the club, just ask for Duke Silver." And
That-
he gets it, and I was just screaming at her. I was like, "Oh my god, Carm! Oh my god!"
That was me when I saw Tom trying to learn how to play basketball. I was like, "Oh, it's me."
Oh, shit.
But
When they
anyway,
have
guess we probably
Well,
should get somewhat started.
No, we've been started. We've
well,
been going. What do you
I'm
mean?
gonna punch you in the face. Welcome to Scheduling Conflicts. I am Brick
Please
Boom.
do. I enjoy that.
Good lord, just introduce yourself. He's gonna get kicked out of the podcast episode 2.
No,
we're
I
not
won't.
holding auditions. Cody, you want to join?
Cody, fuck off. This is my place. No, I'm sorry. It's MySpace.
No, that's gone.
No, MySpace still exists.
big F in the chat for MySpace. I
MySpace
miss
still
MySpace.
I
exists.
prefer
It
Zanga.
still exists.
I miss MSN.
Or Zanga is still a thing.
You know, MSN is
Us.
still a thing.
Zanga, it's underwear. Unless I typed it in wrong. I typed it in wrong. I put the no.
Z or XANGA.
So I spelled it with a Z because Z and X don't make words.
There are
Xanax?
words that have, yeah.
No. Okay, X. If you say
Words.
X, like xylophone and zebra, both start with an X. Yeah, you
Yeah.
say xylophone, like it's sounding with the Z. And zebra is just a zebra. Z.
It's because
I
the
mean-
English language is terrible as a whole.
I mean,
Yes.
read and read are spelled the same and not spelled the same, and they are the same thing, and they are not the same, and they are different tenses of the same word spelled the same.
I hate words.
Also, you
There's
should
also-
probably introduce yourself at some point so people know who the fuck you all are, by the way.
And don't forget, everybody,
Why?
that as long as you capitalize it correctly, I think it's if it goes in the first word and the third word and the second last
Buffalo,
word.
buffalo, buffalo, buffalo.
8 buffaloes in a row is a coherent and proper English sentence. Because buffalo is a city, buffalo is a creature, and buffalo is a verb. So you're basically saying because buffalo means bully. So you're basically saying buffaloes from Buffalo bully other buffaloes from Buffalo. If you capitalize it properly.
You know what? I'm so
hate
glad
it.
you actually explained that to me because I had no idea why.
Yeah, buffalo
I
is
hate
a verb. It means to bully.
I hate
Anyway,
that
I
word.
am called Pivok.
Or
And
what
we'll
else do
wait
we
for-
call you? What else do we call you? Parker,
what
you
else?
fucking fool!
Oh, I did not know where you were going with that. I'm like, what do you call
Did
me?
you just forget your own name for a moment?
No, I understand.
No,
'Cause
I
it's
just
like, what
I
else?
thought he was. I was like, is there another nickname you call me? Oh God, what else do you guys call me?
Park City.
I call you the love of my life on a
Oh,
constant
baby,
basis.
I love you. Oh, baby, you know I love you.
God, I can't wait till we
Mm.
get Haley and Lady B in here or something at some point.
Oh, Lady B has already asked. Like, she goes, "Hey, so if you guys ever do like a guest spot or anything like that, I'd like to show up." I'm like, "Okay, but just so you know, I'm not gonna stop flirting with Parker. My webcam is right by his right now for a reason."
Gross. Also, just as a note, your fucking background lights with your webcam look so weird. If I'm sure you see that too.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't. So the thing is, the problem being is, I feel like if I use the overhead light, like
Mhm.
my
Holy shit, your forehead.
becomes a
Shut-
beacon.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it is.
I guess
Saturation is
Hold on,
a thing.
hold on. Maybe because I do have a ball cap in here.
Again, though, it's all the background lights still do the thing, and it's really weird.
It's like it's like there's an
It's like you have
got a
astigmatism.
astigmatism.
Yeah, it's like a stigmatism in your lens. I want to Google about that
It
because I'm
could
kind of
be-
curious.
It could be something on the lens. It could be a smear on the lens. I'm not sure exactly what would cause that.
So this is the
But-
best
excuse me.
I can get because of how bright everything is.
You look beautiful either way.
You-
Why does
you
my
look
camera have a
gorgeous.
stigmatism? You know what? Oh, it's like actually a good question. When was the last time you actually cleaned your lens?
About a week ago.
Oh, weird.
It's done
Okay.
it ever since I've had it, so
That's so strange.
I assume
Anyways.
I assume it's that it's because it's a newer camera and it's always trying to constantly focus, and where they
Yeah.
are twinkle lights, it's constantly trying to focus on both the lights and me at the same time.
Especially you can see especially if you move if your hand comes close to it or you shift in your seat, you can see the color on your red wall there changing
Yeah.
and the focus shifting.
Yeah.
Like mine's pretty good.
My
at-
camera's really. Wait, you have the same
Kinda
one I
does
do,
it.
don't you?
I think I bought a slightly less fancy version, but I remember I asked you before I bought it what you use.
It says it on here
I'm-
somewhere. I thought, but I don't see it.
I'm probably gonna get a new camera anyway, because whenever I found for whatever reason when I start streaming my my Twitch overlay just doesn't recognize the camera sometimes or just wigs out and
Oh yeah, I saw.
there's
that. I
no
don't know
fix
why.
for it. And it's the only time it does that is when I'm streaming. Like if I'm doing anything else
No,
with
it's
the
not.
camera, if
It
I'm in
doesn't-
Zoom, if I'm in Discord, anything else, no problem. I've
problem.
recorded stuff, no issue. But as soon as Twitch gets in, camera's like, what is going on?
But what
Oh
do?
my- Panic! Everybody panic!
But what
Just
do?
Anyways.
insane.
But also, hi, I'm the Baby Rhino, also known as Marcus. I do stuff on Twitch. I've been doing it for 4 fucking years or something now.
No, it has not been that. Oh my god.
So
Yes, it has been that long.
that's one thing I wanted to ask, because this can be kind of more of an introductory one. How did you two meet specifically?
So, we
Friend
have
in
a
college met another friend.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend. His name is Bodie, and Cody as well. A few of us. I met all of them in college, and it one day they kept talking about Discord, and they're like, "You should get on Discord." This was close to a decade ago now.
This
Feels
is
like
before Discord really became a big thing.
That was like
Skype
2017.
was still popular, I
Um,
think.
Yeah, most
Yeah, I
people
used
were
to use
just on, had just kind of migrated to Discord. And anyway, they kept saying get Discord, and so I got it, and then Bodhi added me to his server, and he was like, get in here. And so first person to greet me was Carm, and then Marcus was in there. Pretty much everybody in our extended friend group was there. But then there was a day, Carm invited me to play golf with your friends, and we're playing it. Marcus joins the call. I step away while he joins. I come back. The first words I hear out of this man's mouth. I have talked to him in Discord through text, but never voice. The first thing I hear from him, hey, did we ever figure out what Parker's Sonic OC is? I'm like, whatever is gonna come out of this, I need to meet this person. Like, I need to know this man, because whatever is gonna come out of here, it's a story.
All right.
Yeah.
Then here we are.
And then so
How
then we
many years?
Googled Parker
4
the
or 5
Hedgehog.
years later?
Yeah, it's close to 8 years.
Oh my god, I didn't think you'd.
was
So you guys have never met in
2017?
person, though, right?
No.
Okay.
No,
I've met
never
Carm
seen
in
him
person. That's the only one.
Oh.
Because I haven't gone to Canada yet,
Hey, buddy.
or he hasn't come here. You got your kid?
I've been
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I typically I don't know if this is normal or weird from a parent perspective. I try to keep him off camera for basically
No.
everything.
That's understandable.
Totally get it.
Or you could just be one of those people who, farm their kid for likes kind of thing.
No.
Oh god, they're so disgusting.
Like the
So
race
bad.
with Ryan kid and stuff. Like, that's
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
like it's one thing if you're just like a creator and you just like you show this is my child.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing, but like using your child to
Actually, it reminds me of
foster
this.
engagement is awful.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of this one fucking couple of people who were literally fostering and adopting kids because they're like, hey, look at what we did. We're doing a good job for people, and they're putting them on camera.
Seriously?
Fuck yeah, they are. And oh boy, don't you know it? They get tons of views, likes, and everybody loves it.
Jeez, I had no idea. I mean, I'm not necessarily surprised by that, but
Mhm.
jeez, that's I don't get it.
Like, I just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I-
disgusting, and people do it all the time.
Yeah, I want to keep my kids
absolutely.
protected. Like, he's asked before about streaming and stuff like that. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that for a good long while.
Mhm. Absolutely fair.
When he
Like,
understands things better, that's always the
Yeah,
idea.
well, and the thing is, it also, like, him being autistic and things like that, like, I am going to be protecting him from these things as long as I humanly can.
fair.
By the way,
Yeah.
I decided to look up Brooker's Hedgehog or Sonic OC because we were talking about it.
It's green, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite disgusting.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
It's a really odd one.
I
In the
shared
red
it to
shirt?
you guys quite some time ago. It's been a long time
Oh,
though,
that's-
since I've done it.
I posted it.
Devout.
Yeah, it is. So, Baby Rhino, do you want to tell them how we met?
Yeah, I didn't like you at first.
Yeah, not much has changed.
Yeah, correct. So, what was it? It was you got rated in. Or I got rated out to you.
Triforce, probably.
Yeah, Triforce, because you used to stream till 11 because you used to work at home.
Yeah.
You bitch.
Well, I also didn't get off until 9, so not getting off till 9, I'm like, well, I'd like to go ahead and actually stream a little bit, like, more than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you used to work from home, so you streamed late, which allowed Triforce to raid out to you because he used to end his streams around 11 o'clock.
Mhm.
Because I used to raid out to Triforce, and then it took about 3 times for him to raid for me to say, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll follow him."
Yeah, well,
And I'm pretty sure I ended up joining your Discord to post a meme, and then I just
you
never left.
stayed. Well, and it's funny because, like, I remember I had thought that because I didn't have any issue with you, I thought that I was following you for months, and you ended up raiding me, and I'm like, well, that's who I was gonna raid out to. Why isn't he showing? Oh, he's not showing up because apparently I never did follow.
I mean,
And then I unfollowed you and followed you again
so
several
many
times.
So many times.
My
I mean,
number
if it-
is messed up.
if it helps, Bricker, it was like months where I was like, because like, why would I not be? I thought I was following your wife, and then the one day she was streaming, and I was like, I'm at home. I was either at home or I was like working from home in the morning or something. I was at home, and she was streaming, and I was like, why can I not find her? Like, why is she not on my list? There's like 5 people that are live. Why is she not? And I searched her. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not following her?
That's
And
like
I was like, Lady B, I'm so sorry. Like, I promise I've been following you. I swear I was.
Lovely Rosie
That
T
happens.
popped into her stream for like a month straight. Was there almost every day because of her being on a stream break and like work and everything else. And then like 3 weeks later, is like, oh my god, I wasn't following you, even though I've been here every single stream.
Actually, I have another one, and this is something more random because I don't know where the guy came from. Actually, I don't remember who, Discord or anything of where he came from. But Aster would actually come into my stream,
Aster's so sweet.
and he did it for like a week before he finally followed me because he never realized. He just happened to jump in every time, and it's like,
you think, especially when we have like when you have servers and stuff, like a lot of people, if you go to it from there, you just think,
yeah,
I'm following, because
exactly.
of course I would be. Like, I know you, I've known you,
You know
I've talked
what?
to you before. Why would I not be?
And that's actually something I haven't done in forever, and I might start doing again. Just if there's any self-promo channels, I might actually just start throwing myself in there in servers that I'm actually active in and talking to people.
Yeah, I haven't done it in a while.
Active servers.
Like, I promote my YouTube stuff on like Twitter and stuff like that pretty frequently. Like, I rarely plug my own stream or anything like that anymore. It's one of those things of, I've seen so many people join my server, your server,
and just post nothing in there.
That's it. They never talk. And then these are the same people that months down the road are like, I'm quitting streaming because I'm not getting any engagement or anything like that. It's like, well, you have to be active in these servers and make friends.
You have to be constantly. It's actually really funny in that regard too, because I was hanging out in Kraken stream because I finally got a chance to raid out to that guy.
Is so good.
And the only reason I got to raid out to him is because he decided to do a super long stream finishing Elden Ring because he was going to go on a break for like a month after that stream. Yeah. So I raided out to him and started chatting in his own chat. And then that's how I met Squiggle. And then I met Squiggle, and then me and her started just chatting on occasion every now and then, and we started playing some games together, and now I'm part of that group.
Yeah,
so it's just like, make friends, talk to people, just be human.
Most people are pretty amicable and willing to talk to you, and
you kind of have to be a streamer.
Like, you kind of have to be okay with just.
Yeah.
Most people don't like. Most people aren't going to be a problem to deal with.
Exactly.
Most aren't.
And don't get me wrong, there's always going to be people that you may not 100% vibe with by any means.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah, like you, Bricker.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it took like 3 times.
Exactly. But sometimes if you just grit your teeth and bear it, 2 years later, you're racing with the person and still hate their guts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's fine.
But also, that's like one of those things of like, give a person a couple tries, eventually something might click.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, something might click. And then you're like, all right, cool, I'm hanging out with you.
Yeah, don't write people off from the don't write people off from the get-go because you could actually miss somebody incredible.
And even if you don't,
I always try to give people more times. Like, there's been times I've seen somebody raid out someone, I'm like, I don't like them. They raid out to them again. All right, I'm starting to feel a vibe here.
And the vibe could be different from day to day. Because, I mean, one thing that I feel like people do not understand, and it's becoming more known now, but content creators are people. We do have bad days. We do have emotions. It's gonna happen.
You know, that reminds me of that one day where we were playing Pummel Party and everybody was bullying me like, guys, I'm actually going to just quit. I'm going to stop this today.
And it
like,
happens.
Guys.
I would like to just go on the record and say that I was not bullying that night. I wasn't there that night. The others.
I wasn't even there that night, so
I'm not even winning. Why are you guys bullying?
No, it honestly it got to the point where it was bad because, like, Parker, have you played Pummel Party?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've ever actually played it. I've seen it, but
it's basically it's like
Mario Party but violent.
He was in dead last place, and I can't remember who all was playing. Just kept killing him over and over to the point where I don't even think you got to really play much that round.
Well, I got to play the mini games.
That was
it. I got to play the mini games.
Like, I'm all for giving people a hard time. Like, I get that, but You gotta
comes
draw
to
a
the-
line.
There's a limit, and
Yeah.
read the
comes-
room sometimes.
Yeah.
It comes to the fact that I'm competitive. I really want to try and win and have fun with it too. But then it's like everybody's like, nah, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, I mean,
Why?
watch like
Yeah.
anytime like if Cody ever does his 24-hour like extra live stream and Marcus and I are both there playing a game, like watch after 10 minutes it will devolve into Cody and Karma are going to play the game and Marcus and I are just going to try to beat each other. Like every
does,
time we
though.
play Mario Golf, it is just the two
It
of us
does.
trying to beat each other because we're that competitive
You
with
guys
each
are
other.
having this epic anime battle, and the other two are just eating paste in the corner.
okay, I wouldn't say
just having a
pace.
tea party.
No, that does happen a lot because me and Parker, when we play games, we're both hyper competitive people. We're
100%
extremely
we are.
competitive.
100%.
We want to win, but then we just get in each
Play to
other's way.
lose. I don't play to lose.
I think it's
There's
funny
no medal for second place.
because
Actually, it's the first loser.
well, yeah. You
the loser.
were you'll trash talk sometimes during the randomizer race, like yeah I'm beating him, and I'm just like I'm just here having fun.
Because I'm a
It's,
competitive person.
It makes me think of it was Cody who showed it to me, but I don't know who the character is, but I think it's some League of Legends character that's like notoriously frustrating. And this is always what I imagine with the two of you when you're racing, but it's like some guy is playing against this league character. He's like, who is this guy I'm playing against? Laser focused. He is so intense and all that. And then it cuts to the other guy who's playing the character, and just he's just sitting there happy, and the DuckTales theme is in his head.
Life is like a hurricane here in
And he's just
monetized.
As he gets a fucking pentakill, he's just killing everybody. He vibing to the music.
It's like Cody playing DDD in Smash Bros. That's actually what it is.
Bro.
Well, no,
hate DDD.
I'm pretty sure him playing DDD in Smash Bros. The music in his head is like Doom music.
No,
Just
that's
going off.
Incineroar. That's Incineroar.
That's Incineroar.
When
my
it's
apologies.
DDD, he is vibing. When it's Incineroar, yeah, he wants to throw you through a window.
When he's playing DDD,
He
it's just
will.
whatever bothers me doesn't bother me. I'm just happy and fun. Ha ha.
Oh my god, I haven't thought of that song in forever.
I haven't heard that ever. I don't
I'll
think.
have to.
The only thing I know
at some point.
the singer has a really high pitched voice. The only clip I can think of is I think it was in the first episode of SpongeBob.
Oh, see, I think
Oh,
of,
it's a SpongeBob. I never.
It's not a
there's-
SpongeBob song,
No,
but I think
no.
it was in an episode of SpongeBob.
I
think
saw
was
it
the
from
first
a
one.
Halo video, with
Yeah.
like at the very end. I think when you're trying to escape everything crashing, he's driving a
yeah.
warthog and singing along to that song.
That's incredible.
It was great.
Freaking,
I wanted to ask, because obviously we all come from different backgrounds. We've known each other varying lengths of time. Parker, I would die for. Rhino, you're all right.
I exist.
What is the first game, if you can remember, that you all played?
Yeah, Mario for the E NES.
So my first memory, period, is of me at my birthday as a child, and I was given a hand-me-down Sega Genesis. My literal, earliest memory I have is holding a copy of Sonic 2. I was fucked
Okay.
from moment one.
Wasn't
Sonic 2.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Sonic 2 the one where Robotnik was actually holding the 2 on his hand and it was like in the
Yes.
background on
Yes.
the cover art? Yeah!
And that art
had
legitimately
that.
kind of creeped me out. That art is incredible.
Wasn't
That's
that the
legit one of
movie
the
poster
favorites.
for the movie?
Yeah, they referenced it in the movie
Yeah.
poster too.
Yeah.
And I popped off so hard. But that was
Go on.
definitely my first game ever, and I became a Sonic fan. I was screwed from moment one. Chemical Plant and the infamous drowning sequence will never escape.
So I have a story about the drowning sequence. You know how old TVs, especially the ones with the badunkadunk on them, if you if you played them too much, you could get images that burnt into
Yeah,
them?
the burn-ins. Yeah,
I had
you
an
have
old
that.
plasma TV in my living room and still does that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you had a plasma TV.
So,
Yeah.
you remember the face that Sonic makes when he drowns?
Oh no.
I
Did
paused
that
the
get burned
game.
in?
Yeah, I paused the game and I walked away, and then, we
Oh,
went to town or something,
no.
we came back, and, it just stayed all day and all night, and by the next day, you would turn the TV off, and you could still see...
So that
Yeah.
happened to me too.
Yeah.
Except for, and I make the joke that it's legitimately one of my biggest fears, and while it's not genuinely afraid of, it does still unnerve the
Mhm.
hell out of me. The red error screen on the PlayStation 2,
don't
which
know
like I
that.
still like
The red arrow screen.
So, like, you know how when you turn it on, there's like that blue fog and it has the
Yeah.
towers for your save data? It basically zooms in and that fog becomes red. And it's like a
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
loud,
Seen that.
piercing sound.
Oh.
It, like, it terrified me as a kid. And I had it, the first time it happened when I was like 7, I ran out of the room.
Oh, no.
And we went somewhere. And I came back in and I remember my mother asked me like what I was doing and I like hurried in and I think I unplugged the PS2 and it burned into the screen.
Oh.
And I went away again because I think I had to go. I was a kid. Yeah, that.
I was a kid,
screen.
right?
That's it.
I did kid
That's it.
things.
Well,
And,
yeah, that's it right there.
And it burned in, and I just had that text just still burned in, and like I was like, "Ugh." It terrified me.
Yeah, that's the thing right there, Bricker. You've never seen it before.
It moves, and it moves like it
moves.
all moves way
Oh,
faster
you said
than
it. Okay,
the.
let me double-
Yeah,
than
and it's that
the-
bright. It's a bright red, and it's fucking terrifying to look at.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
have.
And the worst part is,
never
it's like,
seen any of that.
You put a CD in, and you know you have a CD in, and that pops up.
Yeah,
And
and
you're
like,
like, what the fuck?
it's like I always try to one thing I love is like figuring out like, and part of my background is like in like design, and I love trying to figure out like what were they going for with like the UI of a console and whatnot.
Fear.
And with the Xbox,
Yeah,
I always thought it
basically.
was cool because the Xbox is supposed to be like, look at all this goo, this alien technology, this futuristic technology. This is what's happening in your Xbox. The GameCube, all the branding is around Cube because GameCube.
Yeah.
Never forget.
What is the
GameCube.
message of this? You
Violence.
go to hell if your game doesn't work?
Well,
Like,
it feels that
legitimately.
way.
It's
Actually,
like, that's what I thought because all the towers are save data, and I was like, oh, it's like a big city.
Yeah, I mean,
And then you fall underneath, like you're going down to hell. And if your game doesn't work, welcome to hell. I'm like, what are we going for here?
I don't know. That feels pretty accurate to IRL to me. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but
Well,
see, the first game that I ever played was, and I don't know if either of you have played this or even know it, Dr. Robotnik's Lean Bean Machine.
Dude, I love Puyo Puyo.
what?
It's
Was
a
it a
reskin
Puyo
of
Puyo
Puyo.
game?
Yes,
It's
it was
reskin of
just
Puyo
that.
Puyo.
It was just that. Just levels
Kirby's
upon
Avalanche,
levels.
Puyo Puyo.
Oh, not meme. I want mean.
That's
Yeah, Mean Bean
there's
Machine.
in Sonic Mania. There's a level where you have to do
Yep.
that at the end.
Chemical Plant.
My
Wait.
kid cannot like he doesn't have that like type of he doesn't have that skill developed yet. I'm sitting down. I'm like, I got you. I am
I
the king
laughed
at
so
this.
hard
Wait,
when I
hold
first
on.
played Sonic Mania and I got to the Chemical Plant boss. I was screaming. I was
so
laughing
happy.
so hard. Yep.
Is that it right there?
Yep.
Yep.
It for some
So that's-
reason,
That's
That
literally
and-
just Kirby Avalanche.
which is also just Puyo Puyo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is Puyo Puyo. I know
The
that.
there are a
What the
few
fuck?
different times in that era in the 90s where they were just reskin of puzzle games. Like you play
Pokemon
the
Puzzle League.
Pokemon Puzzle League, which is funny because I was gonna say Yoshi's or Tetris Attack, which has a Yoshi scheme.
Mhm.
Both that and Pokemon Puzzle League are just Panel the Pawn, which
Yeah.
is the best puzzle game of all time. It's so good. Like Panel the Pawn is incredible.
I really enjoyed it. Like, I didn't understand that obviously this was a reskin of that
Mm-hmm.
particular game when I was a kid. I was just like, yay, colored blocks go Bert. And
Yeah.
I was just having a good time with it. But now, like,
So
looking
good.
back, I'm like, man, they were really making bank off a very simple concept that had already been done before.
I mean, the most like everybody's like, what is the game that like everybody like? What's the most played game? It's gotta be Minecraft. I'm like, no, it's Tetris.
Yeah.
You don't even need anything. Like there's no way that any video game has been played more and been like released in more platforms and more variations than Tetris because
Yeah.
Tetris is just pretty close to perfect
It's
for what it is.
And well, and not only that, but the thing is, it's like the quintessential game that even my grandparents who
Yeah.
do not play games have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about my YouTube channel. My grandpa thought for a long time that I was basically a burlesque dancer of some sort. Like, even they knew what Tetris was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What?
But so my grandpa,
There's
Rest
a
his
story
soul.
behind this.
we were talking about me being on Twitch and being on YouTube, and he goes, "So you get on camera, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, "And entertain people. I'm like, no, you cannot do those quotation marks because that means something different
Well,
entirely.
I mean, it
He goes-
depends on who you are.
Well, true.
If you have
He
a
goes,
penis, if you're a man, you're not allowed to do it on Twitch.
he goes,
I mean, what?
Amateur or
do
woman,
you
you're
keep
fine, huh?
your clothes on? I'm like, yes, I keep my clothes on 99% of the time.
What do you mean?
Yes, can I help you?
You say 99% of the time. That means there is at least a time that your clothes come off.
So there was one time that I didn't flip over to the BRB screen. It was right after I got the pie to the face during the charity stream that you see my shirt starting to come up over my head. And me being the saucy little minx I am, you got a peek at my shoulder during it.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you got to see the shoulder, but you know what's worse than the
Spicy.
shoulder?
Oh, dear God.
When you
Oh,
just
dear
show
God.
that ankle.
Oh my God.
Oh, next you're gonna, and you're also showing elbow in that, like, oh,
You hussy.
Oh fuck, you're right.
you get that
Listen,
elbow action.
You couldn't get the elbow without the ankle.
It like makes me think of it was an episode of Futurama where they get all of the heads of old presidents, and I forget who it is, but one of the presidents from like the 1800s is like, I want to meet some loose women, ones that aren't afraid to show a little ankle, and then one of them's like, or elbow. And like Leela comes in and she wears like, she's always wearing the tank top, and she throws she throws a ball or something, and she's right next to one of the presidents, and that same one's just like, nice elbow action on that.
So, I'm gonna ask you, because this is a perfect platform to do so, what did you think of the Futurama reboot?
Man, I never got a chance to watch that.
Don't.
It was.
I heard it wasn't good. Yeah.
So, Futurama is my favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I have an extreme bias going into it. I had no expectations of it. I couldn't have cared, really. I'll always go back and watch the old shows, but I was surprised at how genuinely funny I thought it was. Like, I thought the later seasons, a lot of the humor just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like having an episode about like Bitcoin, I'm just like, can this end? And having an episode about like COVID, or Explovid? Like,
yeah.
What?
And
yeah, it wasn't
like,
great.
They're like, and I know the old episodes relied a lot on like 80s and 90s culture, but they always frame that around why it's so weird. And the reason that it worked is because Fry was from the 80s and 90s.
Right.
So him referencing the 80s and 90s it made sense in character.
Sense. Yeah.
And frankly, looking back at the old shows, the episodes that lean too hard in them are, in my opinion, the worst episodes of the show. And the best episodes of the new stuff, for me, were the ones that were completely their own thing. Because when they did their own thing, I thought the episodes were pretty great.
When they went back to Robot Santa Claus, I thought that was a good episode.
Oh, I thought that
really
was
good.
probably the best episode of
I would agree.
the reboot. Even the last one was fine with the singularity and stuff.
There was one episode, I think it was the one where like Leela is smitten with some guy and like Fry is fighting.
It was they did like the Anthology of Interest thing.
I hated that episode. I completely checked out like 5-10 minutes into it.
We can always talk about the saddest episode of the entire show.
There's like four. There's like four of them that can go.
Yeah, but what about
the
dog?
It's I'm Walking on Sunshine, Panucci's Pizza. Yeah,
it's the dog.
Jurassic Park. I mean, don't forget they retconned it and ruined that whole impact of that scene because the dog isn't alone. The one movie shows that Fry goes back in time, and during all that, Fry was just there the whole time.
I hate that.
That's
ruined the
Wait, no,
whole...
you can't do that because even throughout the episode, you learn that his mom was like searching for him and such. You can't just do that.
It also didn't make a lot of sense because once the show ended and it went into the movie reboot and beyond, like,
so
the show was over.
Full transparency.
There are some moments, but
I didn't know that there was a movie.
There are 3. If you go on Netflix, or Disney Plus, they're labeled as a season and they're broken into episodes, but they were originally released as straight to DVD movies.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because there was Bender's Big Score, which is the one with the aliens, and that's the one that they retconned the thing.
I know
there was
I didn't...
the Beast with a Billion Backs, and then which was probably the one movie that I thought was good or like the best one. And then there was a third one. I forget what it was called.
Yeah,
Bender's Big Score,
idea.
Beast with a Billion Backs.
I've heard of Bender's Big Score, but I don't think I've ever watched any of them.
Yeah, like if
It's
you've
crazy.
watched, if you're on like if you go on Disney Plus or when it was on Netflix, if you watch all the episodes through, you've watched the movies. They were just broken into
I
episodes.
had no idea that was the
Oh,
thing.
that's
I
wild.
must not have
had
seen
no
all the
idea.
episodes then.
I think
'cause
it's
didn't know they
season
retconned it.
5. I think it's labeled as season 5 on streaming platforms.
That's insane.
Yeah, like it.
Oh,
No,
makes
and it
me
was.
wanna pull up my Netflix.
I mean, it also like. I know a lot of people that thought the new stuff of Futurama was great, and like, more power to
If
you.
that's your thing.
I don't think like again, I was surprised. Like every episode at least made me chuckle, if
Yeah.
nothing else, and I genuinely did not expect it to.
Yeah.
It's it just the thing about like, I guess with the new Futurama, like I would put it on par with most adult animated shows right now.
Yeah.
It might make me chuckle, but that's all it does.
Yeah.
What made Futurama and early Simpsons so different was they had so many heartfelt episodes.
Right,
Like,
the "Do It for Her" scene is still one of the most iconic Simpsons
Oh,
episodes.
That's
out
exactly the one I was thinking of.
the
too. Just do it for her.
when Bart and the guy who thinks he's Michael Jackson and was voiced by Michael Jackson sing for Lisa's birthday when she thinks no one cares about her.
There. That's cute.
That episode is just, and like legitimately my favorite episode of Futurama is Luck of the Fryrish, where Fry figures out that there was
about
another
his-
Philip J. Fry, and it turns
Yeah.
out that was his nephew.
And you see
Especially
that
now
cutscene.
Oh
being in-
yeah.
Especially now being an uncle, like that
Mhm.
episode,
Yeah.
it will still make me tear up every time because I'm like, it
Yeah.
was so good, and it had hilarious bits, like
Yeah.
the when they find his statue, and Fry gets all mad, and he's, my brother wasn't Philip J. Fry. He wasn't original. He wasn't a Martian. And since when was he a the? And Ben's like, there are 3 times the he ever was.
Oh my god, I forgot about that part
I love
too.
that show. I love it so much.
See, that's why, like, to this day, 2 of my favorite anime, for example, are Yu Yu Hakusho and Full Metal Alchemist
started watching
Brotherhood.
that.
Because
Okay, at
started
least-
watching Hakusho.
it's so good.
It's
It
so
balances
good.
the humor plus the
Yep.
emotional parts, and not only that, but the original voice for Genkai back in it was the original voice for Frieza, and it feels really weird getting a pep talk from Frieza as an old one. It's a whole mind breaking kind of sequence.
And like,
You know what you just reminded me of though is the live action Yu Yu Hakusho,
Haven't
which I
seen
have
it yet.
not.
I haven't watched it because I would rather want to finish the anime, but I
Makes
saw
sense.
some clips of it, and
it
like,
looks good.
if you
I'm
want to
actually
talk
just-
live action fight scenes, holy shit, that's how
So-
you do it.
I was about to say, like, if you ever watch One Piece, all the live action One Piece, also really fucking
Haven't seen
good.
it yet, but I want to.
Like,
Now-
it's really good, and it plays exactly like how you would want it to, especially for a sped up version. Like
Yeah.
you said, Bricker, you started watching One Piece, the anime, right?
Yeah, I'm right around the Arlong Park era.
Once you finish Arlong Park, you can watch the live version because live is from start to Arlong.
Oh, beautiful. Then yeah, I could.
Right there.
I did hear though the one complaint that people have had about it. They've loved it overall, but the one thing is that they felt like Luffy's fight scenes, especially, were not as good as everybody else's fight scenes, and it might be because of the whole Gum Gum thing, trying
Yeah,
to
they-
kind of keep up with that. But
He never really uses his devil fruit power as much as he would in the anime.
yeah, because I mean, have you watched? How much have you watched
Of what?
of One Piece or read of One Piece?
Dude,
Watch
I'm-
a lot of it according to my Crunchyroll.
Perfect.
yeah, I got my own Crunchyroll account too.
Okay,
So-
that's why. Because I was like, it hadn't moved, but you kept talking. I was like you still could. Like, I have no problem sharing it. But I was
No,
like,
it's fine.
So-
I also
Like, during the Arlong fight in the manga, like, Luffy uses,
to
like,
my
Gum Gum
Crunchyroll.
net, where he makes his fingers
Yeah.
like this into
you
a
don't see that
net.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, like, that's... I understand that there are probably going to be some limitations, and likely due to budgeting is why they
Mhm.
can't do it, but I would like to see if they continue with the
Okay.
seasons, they add more of his powers into it.
They most likely will because they're definitely doing another season.
Oh,
if I'm
they
not
have
mistaken.
to. I mean, it was
Yeah.
very successful.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, I will know where the next one ends, and that's after Crocodile.
I don't know who that
Well, he's
is.
just like he is like the next big bad of the series.
Okay.
And it's a really great scene or great moments because it's a lot of times where you get to watch Luffy do or become big brain, even though he's a big idiot.
Mimi Big Brain.
So,
But just real quick, just to give you an idea, I'm on episode 766 out of 1088.
I'm on episode 45.
I
Continue,
haven't
Parker.
watched
Hello.
There's a website called One Pace.
Hold on a sec. Is Parker frozen on your end?
yeah, you're both frozen
yeah.
on my end. I can hear
Okay.
you both fine, but you're both like I have no cameras on my end.
Yeah, you're on. You said what? 50, 40, episode 40
Something like
something.
that, yeah.
God, you have so far to go. But there is a website called One Pace, and that's like the thing you would go to basically watch the episodes that are worth watching in order to actually stay at a good pace in the show. Because you've already noticed there's a lot of episodes that it's like this episode happens, it's mostly just talking and a little bit of fighting, and it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
You can watch One Pace, basically find those episodes to skip like that, and you'll be good.
Still nothing like Naruto with full seasons of 45 episodes of filler and nothing but filler.
Oh my god, what about Bleach though?
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Okay, hold on. Hey Google.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna figure out the anime with the most filler.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up cutting this part out while we're just kind of bullshitting, because
Why?
well, I would like Parker to be back.
I know, but yeah. Continue without disabling my ad blocker. You know, we were making fun of all these episodes.
Is
You
it
ever
Ranma
remember-
1/2?
No. Do you ever remember Detective Conan?
Yes, great. Honestly, I enjoy it. I enjoy the filler of it too.
Okay, hold on. It's number 1 with 440 filler episodes
Jesus.
out of 1039 episodes.
Wait, repeat
Hold on, I need to
repeat
do
that
that.
one more time.
1039 divided by 440. Oh, there goes Parker.
Yep, he's gone.
Oh, I just broke something. No, give it back.
Well, you said divided by, and I think that might be part of the issue.
I divided by 1. Oh, my browser has updated. Parker is back.
Trying to be. There he is.
There we are. Yeah, no, it was I just restarted my whole PC.
Fair enough.
That's
we,
fair.
we were talking
Whatever
about a
was-
filler.
We were just talking about like animes with the most filler episodes in it, and number 1 actually just surprised the fuck out of me.
Detective
Which
Conan,
is- Oh,
or Case Closed if you're in America.
Case closed. Yeah. That
I don't think
means
I've heard of it.
It's actually. I enjoyed it for what it was. But it's definitely it's not for everybody. Banger
Nope.
of a theme song though.
That is one of the
Oh,
that is
fuck,
one
I
of the
forgot to do
important things about an anime. So then on that question, since we're bringing it up, I gotta ask, like, favorite anime opening of all time.
Oh,
that. Wait, no, I don't have one
I have.
easy.
because I will skip them. That means only 500 episodes.
Easy. Easy call for me.
When I was a
Is it
kid,
Evangelion?
it was.
What's that?
Oh no, is it Evangelion? I'm gonna
No.
say no, probably not, but that's still a good song.
Cruel Angel's Thesis is incredible.
Is it the opening
It's-
to Yu Yu Hakusho?
No,
Because that's a great-
it would be a tie pretty much between two, because it's also my favorite anime of all time. Cowboy Bebop Tank is
so good.
Honestly, fair.
pretty well unmatched, but also, and like, I feel like this show doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and every single person should watch it. It's 12 fucking episodes, and they're great. Odd Taxi. It's so good.
I never heard
It's
of it. Oh my god, you just
it's
remembered
a
this
bit of
stuff,
it's a mystery show, and like literally it's 12 episodes you can blow through in a weekend.
Yeah, I'll have
You
to take a look.
probably have seen it. They're anthropomorphized animals. The main character, the taxi driver, is a walrus.
That's
It's
adorable.
That's
so good.
incredible.
It's so but like it's so good.
Actually,
Yeah.
you're right
And,
too, Parker.
I love it.
What the fuck was that show that you, I, and Carm, I think Cody was maybe there too, all watched in one sitting? We watched every single episode, but it was about this one guy who was trying to do everything in the world, or be like not be the best, but try
Was
and do
it
everything.
Golden Boy?
Golden Boy.
Golden Boy, thanks.
Because I love Golden Boy. I
Yeah,
love
good,
that show.
Good pick.
It's
Theme
so
songs,
stupid.
though, as a kid, Rock the Dragon from Dragon Ball Z.
I've never watched the
Fair.
Dragon Ball, but I've heard Dragon Ball had some bangers.
What
was
about the
pretty good.
American version of the One Piece intro?
I heard it. I heard that. I don't know
His
the
name's
show. I heard
always
that.
just
It's
like a
cheesy and
samurai
it's
and an
great.
MAD. Why not? He's not shy.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Great
was the
fucking
one
song.
thing that 4Kids did good.
I'll also
Also,
if we're gonna
Shaman
give
King was good.
4K ones, and I know most people who know of who've ever watched the show would say the very first theme song it ever had was a banger. Pokemon Johto slaps unnaturally hard.
Everybody wants to be a master. Everybody wants to show their skills.
It's so good. It's so good.
Honestly, like, don't get me wrong, I love the original, like, the OG Pokemon theme song. Because I like how the second one sounds, I actually like it just a little bit more than the OG.
I like Johto way more.
Yeah.
Johto is like my favorite. And I've watched a fair bit of the Pokemon anime because it's
I
actually pretty
haven't.
consistently good.
I've watched a decent bit, but not a whole lot.
The ones that I hear, like, and I haven't watched them all, but the ones that I've watched, like, I've watched basically up until probably up until like near Gen 4 start. And then I watched pretty much all of X and Y because Gen 5 and Gen 6 are my favorite gens.
Makes sense.
And the X and Y, and I heard the Gen 5 anime sucks, so I didn't watch it.
Fair enough.
But from what I understand, the Gen 4 anime is really good. X and Y is considered great, which, yeah, there's a little character, Bonnie, with her little Dedenne, and she must be protected at all costs. Even if the show does double down into the whole, like, the woman Ash is traveling
Damsel in
with, the young
distress
girl,
kind of thing.
well, just really likes him, and he is too stupid to realize.
See,
and I'm like, we did this with Misty.
That's the thing.
And then
that
apparently
kinda,
Alola's also great.
That irks me with a lot of, like, it. I don't like the fact that I feel like a lot of animes, especially, are kind of, like, leaning in hard on this just asexual dolt of a main character. Like, Goku, there is not a sexual bone in his body. Luffy, from what I've seen, no,
he does not care.
Nothing there. Ash, if it's not a Pikachu, he doesn't care. Like, just give us the episode where this person admits their feelings and he's like, listen, I don't feel that way. Like, give us that with at least one person,
okay, no,
please.
hold on. You do get that with Luffy. Luffy only cares about one thing. Well, two things. He cares about his crew, and he cares about becoming king of the pirates.
Oh.
And well, three things. And his friends.
I would argue...
and his hat.
I would argue as well that that Pokemon is a particularly bad example of it, like a pretty egregious example, because like
it is aimed more for the youngins.
And they have so many times where they have like Ash kind of have this almost like child, like the moment like they basically have Ash go through like his awakening.
Yeah.
He's 10 years old, like, and there was that one Pokemon Christmas album, which is honestly like
Under the Mistletoe.
You need to listen to it. Like everyone needs to listen to it, just
Jolly
because of
St. Nicholas before
Brock
the night is through.
Brock singing Joy to the World, but it's just Nurse Joy is a girl. She sure is fun, but I like
Jenny too. Yeah, like, honestly,
so good.
Well, they're saying
jelly donuts.
Oh God.
His trusty frying pan is a drying pan. In Pokemon, in the Pokemon third movie CD, there's an episode, or not an episode, there's a song on it that Brock is singing called A One-Woman Man's What I Want to Be, but there's two perfect girls for me, and it's him talking about all the positives of Nurse Jenny, or Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny.
Yeah.
It is just 3 minutes of this man having a crisis.
Like,
also, I want to point out just one little thing real quick, since we're talking about anime. I have now figured out the anime with the worst fillers.
Naruto, I'm sure.
Boruto.
That actually tracks.
245 episodes. It has 182 filler. Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? That's disgusting.
That's like that's a bad 90s RPG level, side quest level of nonsense.
I do really enjoy Naruto, and I enjoyed Naruto Shippuden. I skipped all the filler because I actually care about myself a little bit, he says while watching One Piece. But I have literally heard maybe 3 good things about Boruto, and the rest of it is, why did you do that to this character? Why is this character fat now? Why is this character gone entirely? And I'm like, yeah, that Peace era, that'll get you good. They gave you the old Gohan treatment.
Now you got me thinking about, like, any time that a show or a game has done something terrible to a character, and I'm just thinking about Chrono Cross, and now I'm just angry.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up Kingdom Hearts 3 and Mickey Mouse.
And what Aqua did to, or what Mickey Mouse did to Aqua.
Stupid fucking rat.
Down
It's
with
funny.
the rat.
It's so funny because now, like, I'm gonna grow in and I'm gonna I'm going to get murdered for this probably because my nephew, who is 2, like, it is to a point where he will see, like, I'm sure there's an actual name, but because I'm Kingdom Hearts trash, I call it the Lucky Emblem. Like, you see the outline of Mickey's head. He loves Mickey that much that if I draw that, he will stop crying and he will be happy
That's
now.
adorable.
So I'm
You know
like,
what?
one of these days,
Jeez.
I am going to I'm going to, like, make, like, when
Just
he's, like,
lay
older and
into
talking,
Mickey.
I'm gonna, like, give my dumb, funny rant about Mickey, and he is going to hate his uncle for it.
I mean,
I
see,
love
here's
it
the thing.
so
You
much.
hate Mickey because you know that meme, that one meme. It's like you hate this because of that. I hate this because of this. You
I
hate
don't-
Mickey because he left Aqua behind. I hate Mickey because fuck Disney.
See, I'm not big on Disney as well, but also most of the character I don't mind, but also, like, now that I've been with nephew and nieces for a while, have been around them when they want to watch shows, and I've been exposed to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and that fucking theme song, and I don't like Mickey as well because of that. Because if I have to hear about hot dog, hot diggity dog one more time, I'm going to throw somebody.
Okay, but the episode of The
hate it.
Walking Dead where Negan walks in and he goes, "Hot diggity dog!" I lost my shit because that's
Hot
immediately
dog.
what my mind went to.
Just hot dog in general, like, it's just like that word instills a fight or flight response in me now.
And you
Because of
somehow
that
want to do
stupid show.
both.
Yeah, yeah, I really do. Like,
You know, I never
Oh.
heard that hot dog, diggity dog until
Good.
like last year.
How? Well,
The
I
show was
guess
on.
not
No,
having
it wasn't last-
kids, but
I don't. Well, yeah, it was because of Thomas. I didn't hear it because until last year. Until like one of the times I decided to go upstate with everybody else and just hang out for the weekend.
mhm.
And then like they put on the TV and it's like it's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and here's Thomas and there's the hot dog and I'm like, wow, this makes me want to game end myself.
real
Like-
quick, do you want me to edit out his name?
I talk about him all the time, so probably
Okay,
it's
I
fine.
didn't know if you've mentioned his name
Mhm.
online before, so I just wanted to be
We
respectful
have
to
we
y'all.
have definitely multiple
Okay.
times.
Just wanted to make sure.
Like, it's just freaking like I'm all for children's program. Like there's a lot of really, really, really good
Biggest-
kids shows, but that
Go
and
ahead.
I remember because when I was a kid, there was a it's funny because she actually passed away last year. There was a person who like a sitter. She looked after like all the kids in my hometown, like so many of us. And I got older. When I got older and I got into like middle school, junior high, it was basically like I went there if I had to. Sometimes I would go there and like do something for her before school or whatnot. And when I was into a teenager was when that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show first came on. Like it was like 10 years ago. So I would go there sometimes and I heard that. And I was like, Rhonda, this show's really fucking obnoxious. And she would agree with me. And then one time, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, my nieces were watching that show. And it was literally that that Ratatouille meme of like where the past like hits you. Except for it was not a good version. It was not like, oh, I ate this delicious meal I had 20 years ago. I'm like, oh god, he's back. The little bastard is back.
So that's like the biggest thing I've like realized about a lot of kids shows, especially nowadays. They're loud, obnoxious, overly bright, and it's like
There's
this is
stimulus.
all to
like,
all to keep that
oh.
ADD in check
Coco
and keep your
Melon.
focus on it.
It is just nonstop stimuli. And like, yes, we had SpongeBob, but I look back even on old SpongeBob episodes and I'm like,
Even SpongeBob.
they
was
still
fine.
knew when to tone it down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like it was usually like it was played into to be humor. And yes, the theme song of SpongeBob was obnoxious.
Obnoxious as
It was
hell.
supposed to be. But it was also still a catchy song. And maybe that's part nostalgia goggles.
I'm
It was
sure.
catchier than a lot of the shows than the theme songs for kids nowadays.
Though
And again, that might just be the get off my lawn in me, but
all-time
Yeah.
favorite kids TV show theme song though to this day is still going to be the Phineas and Ferb theme song.
And I've never seen that.
I highly
that
recommend
same
it.
era, because that's when Phineas and Ferb came on.
Mhm.
And I remember I heard that, and I gleaned enough through context to I always could know who Perry the Platypus and Doofenshmirtz and Candace were. But like, man, if my nieces watched Phineas and Ferb, it would have been the good version of the Ratatouille
Yeah.
meme when I first heard it, because I'm like, that, like, I feel like I need to go back and watch that show because it looks like a banger.
It's honestly I've watched it without my kid at this point. Like I
Is
love it.
Brooker's thing frozen for anyone else too?
Nope.
Weird. It's you know what? I'm just doing this. You're fine. It's fine.
It's
Okay.
buffered into pretty
Buffer.
pixelated for like a second every now and
Yeah.
then, but it's still got.
Well, for
Yeah,
me,
but-
he keeps freezing. It's really weird.
Huh. Wonder
It's
if
it's
but
fine.
Parker's fine?
Yeah, Parker's been fine the whole time.
Weird. I don't know.
Discord, do a Discord.
Discord,
Yeah,
do Discord.
My God.
The-
But
So
yeah,
What'd you say your
honestly,
favorite thing?
I would highly recommend Phineas and Ferb. Like best theme song, hands down. Like really good TV show.
And
I wouldn't say this for
honestly,
night.
watching a compilation
Oh, nothing.
of it, the bits, like it's honestly, it is not that funny, but like I've watched so many compilations of it, and any of the Dr. Doofenshmirtz going a platypus, and he puts on the hat, Perry the platypus. Like legitimately, that is so funny to me.
And
It's so
Doofenshmirtz
good.
plays D&D IRL.
Like,
Wait, the voice actor?
Yeah.
That's
oh, he's a
dude,
nerd.
everybody's getting into D&D too. Like even oh my god, Aaron mentioned this to me too. If you ever seen the streamer, and she puts videos on YouTube now too, Granny, who by the way is a guy
dogs?
who's
Food for Dogs.
no, her name's Granny. I don't know what Food for Dogs is.
So it's an old woman on YouTube who does video
No.
game content.
No. Yeah, she's just Granny.
Oh.
But she's not actually an old woman. She's actually a guy dressing as an old lady because he did this once for like a Halloween thing. So he did that, and then it just became his whole bit to dress up as a granny and just start doing all this sorts of stuff online like that.
Kind of like how I
She
wore
actually
a hat
got to-
once and now.
Yeah, pretty much. But she did that, and she's also gotten people like T-Pain into playing video games with her
Oh my
and such. And
God.
I'm looking at this like,
Amazing.
oh my god, these like these people you would never think would be into this kind of stuff. Oh yeah, they're fucking super into it.
It is cool to see, like, and I'm sure there are a lot, like, celebrities have always there's probably lots that have always been into video games,
Yeah.
but seeing things like there was a time when Tom Holland advertised for a critically acclaimed MMORPG with a free trial that goes to level
Shut up.
70, includes the
Shut
award-winning expansion
Shut
Stormblood, Final
Shut
Fantasy 14.
Shut
Download
up.
now from the Square Enix website.
Shut up.
It's and like the way he talked about it, I'm like, I would believe that this man actually does play this game. And like the guy Ben Schwartz who played Sonic, he went on an interview when they first announced him as the voice of Sonic in the first movie, and they asked him about like what video games he plays, and he dropped the absolutely correct take and said Chrono Trigger is the best RPG ever made. And I'm like, yeah,
Tracks.
he is
100%.
correct. Like that is a factual opinion.
And then you
Uh,
play fucking Sea of Stars, and it's just like, oh, yep, this is Chrono Trigger. This is just Chrono.
The Chrono Trigger devs commented on that game and said it was like incredible. And like for Sabotage Studio, like what better possible praise can you get as an indie dev than the guys who inspired you to make the game going, you nailed
Yeah,
it.
you made it.
You
You did
absolutely
it.
nailed it. Like I think it was Hironobu Sakaguchi literally said, this feels like it could have been a Chrono Trigger 2 or something along those
God,
lines.
I really
And like,
wanted a Chrono Trigger too.
as
I
he
mean, we got
sinks into
Chrono
his chair.
Cross.
I never played Chrono Cross. I
Don't do it. Don't
Bad
do it.
things about things. Yeah,
It was not made by a lot of the devs of Chrono Trigger, and a lot of the charm
okay.
of
So
it is
that's why I don't think about
it's a fine video game on its own right, but what it
But it's
does
using the line. Yeah.
to Chrono Trigger specifically, and especially when, like, if it was on its own merit, I'd be like, it's a fine RPG from the 90s, but when it's trying to follow up on the one RPG that went against everything and didn't have to grind, didn't have to kill your time, didn't waste time with filler, didn't
You
have
know-
unnecessary characters. Like everything in Chrono Trigger had a
I never
perfect
thought of-
place.
I never thought about that. It's like even when you're doing side stuff, you're doing side stuff for your characters.
You could there's 8
Yeah.
side quests in the game,
Yeah.
and all of them are great. The
Yeah.
most iconic image in that game comes from a side quest.
Which one's the I could
The
probably Google it.
campfire.
You know
All of them
what?
sitting around the
Ah.
campfire.
You You know what
I don't
game
remember which
I
side
would
quest that was.
like them to do a sequel to finally?
Hmm.
I would
What's
kill
that?
for Pokemon Stadium 3.
Wasn't there the Wii one?
That was they did Pokemon Coliseum, which it
No, like
was
it was like Battle Pokemon
Battle
Battle
Frontier, I
Evolution or
think, or
something.
yeah. I mean like a legit just straight
Yeah.
to Pokemon Stadium 3 through however many gens there are now. I would buy every single one.
Like, and I'll also just say, like, I mean, I've never been like Pokemon as an RPG has never done it as much for me as other
Yeah.
people, but also if we're gonna bring back Pokemon Stadium, like it's legitimately one of the best minigame collections ever.
Yes.
Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody that you had involved in that, bring them back because
the Chansey Blissey egg catch game, oh, I was king at that.
or when who was it? Was it Clefable? Had the chalkboard minigame where you had to remember.
Clefairy says haunts me to this
I
day.
love the meme of like say all this and the whole it's as many as you can get and it's like I'm 10. I'm 10, Clefairy.
'Cause-
I'm a baby.
Hold on, I want to take a quick look here real quick because
And also Parker, because you reminded me of all the fucking scenes, and I had to look it up real quick. Fucking Robo being all the way in the past, and then you taking 2 minutes to teleport into the future.
Just tilling away,
Fuck.
and you go back to the past, and he's still
He's
tilling.
still tilling. He's
Like,
still tilling.
It's things like that that make Chrono Trigger so incredible, and like Square Enix is still every now and then they'll bring out like devs and have old interviews with the older devs, and they're always like, what if we ever made a Chrono Trigger 2? And I'm like, don't do this to me. Please don't.
the full board of Clefairy says is 12 steps.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Try to remember that when you're 8.
Yeah.
The
It is awful.
It's like funny because you're mentioning like everybody thinks about like what would be the like the never gonna happen sequel that you always want, and I literally got that years ago when they made a sequel to The World Ends With You.
I was
like
I was surprised
never
when
thought they
Pokemon
would.
Snap got a sequel. Like it came
I'm
out of
surprised that
nowhere.
wasn't a yearly game.
Yeah, because
It's
it
such a
was such a
money-printing
good
formula.
concept. Yeah, and it just it went dormant for like 15 years.
You know what? That just gives hope for a lot of other games. Where's our F-Zero game, Nintendo?
I mean, F-Zero 99 has done pretty well. I feel like an F-Zero game.
I forgot they did that. I forgot they did another
Honestly,
99.
Even if nothing else, like legitimately, if nothing else, just put GX. Like, even if you make it a full retail release, because you're not going to give us a GameCube app, HD it, widescreen it, call it a day.
Like, I would like more Fire Emblem stuff brought to the US. Same with Earthbound.
Hey, Parker, where's Mother 3?
Why do you gotta do this to me? Why do you gotta do this to me?
Well, Mother 3 will never come. Mother 3 will never come to the US, and it literally cannot legally come to the US.
Really?
It would be a ratings nightmare because of a lot of
No, it's not a ratings nightmare. It's a copyright nightmare.
No, that's been disproven because Earthbound. That's why people thought Earthbound never got re-released, and it wasn't. That wasn't the case because Earthbound is the game that has a lot more musical motifs to it. Like it has a lot of classic rock in it, and like allusions to Johnny B. Good, and stuff like that. But no, that is a legitimate discussion that for a long time, and that's why people thought because Earthbound came to the Wii Virtual Console in Japan, but not in the West. And everybody thought that's why it wouldn't come to the West. And I think it was a simple thing to fix, but it was never the only reason it didn't. I believe Mother 3 won't come to the West because of like
it's been this long.
Without spoiling it, Mother 3 has very while it shouldn't be controversial, has very gender fluid characters. And a lot of people have been like, that would be controversial in the West. And it also has scenes where children literally trip out on drugs.
Oh, fun. Well, so...
okay.
Are they real drugs or are they video game drugs?
They're mushrooms. You eat mushrooms and trip out.
I don't know, because the thing is, and granted it was a straight-to-video thing, but In Dragon Ball Z, the Garlic Jr. one, Gohan eats an apple and then just goes on a straight up acid trip
I
for
mean,
multiple minutes, and it really
there.
is just
I was
fine
to
as far
say,
as I know.
I
a
think
lot of kid stuff you get to watch, and they just have one thing happen, and now you literally just watch them go on a drug trip.
Yeah.
well, and I think though with all of that as well as some pretty heavy like Mother 3 like legitimately has one of the most like heart-wrenching endings in a video game I've ever seen. And like anyone who's played that game will tell you like it genuinely hurts. Like the meme they wrote on the back of the box was no crying until the end, and the meme is that's one of the hardest challenges in video games. But I think like I don't mean like a ratings and controversial nightmare because like Nintendo would never release a game that has bad things. Like they published the Xenoblade series and that literally has cannibals in it.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
because I think Nintendo is a company that's very, very focused on the brand image of their games.
Yeah.
And Mother 3 is like if you only know what you see in Smash Bros, Mother 3 would be a culture shock for people. And I feel like that would be a reason as to why. I don't agree with it, but that's
Yeah.
like my best theory. Or Reggie just hates us.
I remember I watched Triforce play some of Earthbound back when he was still streaming, and I
Yeah, he
remember
was doing the
like
first one.
yeah, and I remember watching it like, wow, this the lore in this game goes much deeper than what I thought it did originally.
Yeah, it does.
The Mother series has some pretty intense moments. Like even Earthbound has some pretty weird things. And when you know that like a lot of the potential inspirations for stuff, like a
Okay.
lot of stuff dealing with like cultists and like indoctrination and stuff, and like like Shigesato Itoi is a genius, is an actual artistic genius on the par with like Hideo Kojima.
Okay, this was another major reason why Mother 3 was not going to come to it. And I had to find it because a lawyer had to talk about this too. Part of the soundtrack
Yep.
literally prevents it from happening due to copyright laws because of one particular fucking case that ruined the whole idea of it actually coming out earlier.
What song?
No, I don't remember. I want to say it was a Prince song that screwed it.
Yeah,
Or not Prince. It was a Prince?
I think it was a Prince song.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was like one song that happened in there, and because of like they didn't have these particular copyright laws or like legal things before,
Mhm.
and then they put it in, and then it's like, well, now we can't do this because legally we can't.
Yeah,
I like
it's-
that you've become the resident fact checker of the podcast.
It's like one of these. This is one of those things I
Someone
read
has to do it
about
for me.
months ago, and like legitimately, as we've been talking about stuff, I'm like literally googling and looking
Yeah.
stuff up.
It's been an hour and 16 minutes, and this is already like that is going to be your role in the podcast going forward. You are the resident fact checker.
Someone has to keep me in check. It's a full-time
wow.
job.
It's like I can't tell the exact like reason, exact song and everything. Because like I'm saying, I think it's Prince,
Yeah.
but it was probably like that plus one other thing. It's
Mhm.
it's the same thing like when you hear God, it was Ice Baby and then the other song Under Pressure,
Yeah.
and you hear the intro to both those songs and they're both extremely familiar, same.
I mean, we were
Didn't-
talking about Chrono Trigger, and Chrono Trigger, decades before it ever became a thing, Rickrolls you. Like there is a theme in Chrono
Fuck!
Trigger that sounds exactly like the opening to Never Gonna Give You
I'm
Up.
gonna have to look that up after this.
Chrono Trigger Rickrolled before Rickrolling was a thing, and it's my favorite part of it because I remember when I first played Chrono Trigger years ago, I was half hungover when I finally started it. And I was legitimately like, I closed my DS and was like, am I still drunk? I haven't drank since like 4 a.m, and it is like 5 p.m. now. What is going on? Josh, what was in that whiskey? And my buddy that I was actually just mentioning, Josh, he had played it before, and I was like, this one song, I swear, I was like going crazy, man. This one track in the game sounded like Rickroll. He's like, no, it literally does. I'm like, wait, hold on, I gotta go back, rewind the tape.
If you look up like songs throughout the decades that have just straight up stolen from other songs due to copyright or whatever it may be, it is astronomical how many songs you can find with similar chord progression, similar bars. Like it's kind of crazy.
It's funny because the original PS1 version of Persona 1, Revelations Persona, I don't know what it's called, and the only way I can describe the song, it has it's a melody that everyone would know, I describe it as like the song that a '90s NBA team walked out of the tunnel to. Like, I can't remember it, but it is a beat that everyone will go.
Yeah,
I know it as soon as they do. The battle theme in Persona 1, the intro to it is almost note for note, and it's intentional. It's very
Also,
like it's kind of like how in the early '90s both Sonic and Goku just happened to similar times have super forms of
so there's a
yellow
reason,
spikiness.
if I remember right, and fact checker, you may need to check this, but if I remember right, the guy that created the Sonic games and manga and all that, he actually was a Dragon Ball Z fan, and that's why he gave Sonic the yellow hair and all that stuff.
See, because I'd heard, and maybe this was wrong, but I'd heard, and I'm obviously not a Dragon Ball fan, was that Super Saiyan Goku with the yellow hair came out the same, was first like shown the same year as Sonic 2.
Not 100% sure, because keep in mind the manga would have come out many years prior.
That's also true, and it's known that Sonic has taken from Dragon Ball, because you can see there were old documents for Sonic 06 when they were making Silver the Hedgehog.
God.
And I think I know the characters' names, but they were like, one of the creators, when describing Silver the Hedgehog, wrote like, just think Trunks from Dragon Ball. I think that's the character's name.
Yeah, and keep in mind there's, I believe, 7 Chaos Emeralds and 7 Dragon Balls.
Yep.
2 rivals become friends, Goku and Vegeta, Sonic and Knuckles. Underpowered Psychic, Tails, Miles per hour, Krillin. So there's a lot of like very, very much similarities in the cast and the lore behind it.
And that's like,
it's fine. I mean, they're still separate enough for both of them to be entertaining on completely different reasons.
It's funny because like we've now gone to a point where like there are so many pieces of media that people know more because they've been parodied.
Yeah.
Like there were probably countless bits from '90s Simpsons or Family Guy or whatnot that people know more because there was a bit, or even like Rugrats. Yeah. Like I'll bet you more people might know the famous "I didn't kill my wife" line from The Fugitive more because of when the Simpsons parodied it with Milhouse.
Yeah, well.
And Milhouse jumps into a dam.
There's an entire episode of South Park that is called "The Simpsons Did It."
Yeah.
Yeah, Butters is trying to, I think, find a plan to take over the world, and every 5 seconds he finds out the Simpsons already did it.
So I also just need to make a quick correction. Earlier when I was checking stuff, it was actually Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines and Marvin Gaye's got to Give It Up.
Yes.
Those 2 songs were basically so similar that it is now considered, the outcome of the lawsuit established a rule that having your music influenced by another music is considered theft in the music industry. And because of that, and the fact that Mother 3's music is an integral part of the game, it can't be localized, even though there is there was like a 6-year difference or something, like even longer than that, between the song coming out or between the game first coming out and then the song.
Well,
it's international copyright law has got to be like a nightmare to deal with.
Well,
I had to correct that real quick.
Like, and especially now, the idea of transformative content is such a. We do not have adequate copyright laws. Just globally, we do not have adequate laws.
Keep in mind, like, if you look at, like, 80s and 90s TV shows especially, you will never hear anybody sing, like, the Happy Birthday song that we grew up with. It's always some sort of parody or something like that because of the way the music copyright laws worked, but I want to say that finally became public domain a couple years ago.
I think it was, like, 5 years ago that Happy Birthday actually became public domain. I mean, even now, like, a lot of people are breaking a lot of copyright laws because they don't realize Mickey Mouse didn't become public domain. Steamboat Willie.
Yes.
It's very specific attributes that you can do.
Every time I hear somebody talk about this, I'm like, it's like, yeah, it's great. This is awesome. Make sure it's Steamboat Willie. not Mickey
that's
Mouse.
Very
Two different
things.
characters. And I think the main distinction is when it comes to Disney and the Mickey Mouse logo, it's you have to see Mickey Mouse's ears. Both ears, no matter which way his head is facing.
Yes.
And that's how you know it's Mickey Mouse. And that's why the one game which apparently I learned is actually being made by Nazis, but Infestation 88.
So
It's-
I wanted
it's
to.
Steamboat
that was a
Willie.
coincidence, from what I understand.
Well,
I heard that too,
I don't
but I
know
also
because
heard
here's
that
the thing: they're like
Yeah.
the game devs, like people have talked to the game devs, and they're like, "Yeah, there's gas chambers in this."
So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like it apparently was just a coincidence, but because of the 88 thing, which
Yeah.
is like HH Hail Hitler, that
Yeah.
thing. But apparently
this
the
video
It's about
devs themselves
gassing
are
people.
actually Nazis. And it's
Yeah,
been
which-
in their Discords and such that they were talking about this.
Yeah, it's a
So-
problem. See
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, like that's why I think I was more excited for Winnie the Pooh becoming public domain because it was the entire franchise and they could make like the blood and honey thing. This is just one aspect of it, and people have already blown it way out of proportion.
Actually,
They're making it bigger than what it should be.
Exactly.
there is one game that was announced and is going to be released this year, which I'm going to be playing on Steam.
Oh, is it the
Or on stream.
FPS?
It's Mouse.
Yeah, that's not even
that
Mickey
looks
Mouse,
so
but
fucking
that just
good.
it's Cuphead for FPSs, and it looks fucking
Yeah.
rad.
It's so good. It's just
Like, that's
basically
just
that
awesome.
it's that rubber hose animated game. And yes, obviously the character looks like, Mickey Mouse of sorts, but it's not Mickey Mouse because it's not using the logo of Mickey Mouse.
And it's as much Mickey Mouse as like Cuphead is like Popeye and stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
very
exactly.
they wear what they're trying to emulate on their sleeve, and that's part of like the charm of it. And like
Yep.
that
I'm so
that
looking
kind
forward
of
to
thing,
that
I'm like,
game.
yeah, I'm all for it. Shout out to Cuphead.
Okay,
Game's incredible.
I still
can
need to
I
play
be
Cuphead.
honest? I had no
Yes.
idea that Cuphead was a Popeye thing. I had no
Well, like
clue.
Popeyes
It has
and all of those classic cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
the
thought you meant that like
specifically
he was
Popeye.
trying to emulate
No.
Popeye, and I'm like, I had no
No.
idea.
No, it's that classic rubber hose animation.
No, Mario is the game that tried to emulate Popeye.
Rhino,
Is
if
it?
you ever want to play
Wario-
Cuphead on stream and you're okay losing
Oh my
50,000
God.
times, we could play it together.
Wario.
I'll just
Yeah,
carry your ass like I have to all
but
the time.
it is
That's
worth
right.
knowing.
I was the one that ran
Wario.
Dick Slinger.
Wario was supposed to be an illusion. Mario and Wario were supposed to be an illusion to Popeye and Bluto. And a lot of,
I can
I
see it.
believe it was Donkey Kong, the original arcade, was going to be a Popeye game, and Nintendo made a Popeye video game for the arcades.
Well,
Did
that's
they?
isn't
they made a Popeye
Daisy
game.
technically the Wario version of Princess Peach?
There was going to be a Wario Princess Peach, and that was going to be paired with Wario. They had a design that got released like this year.
Yo, does
within
anybody
a
have
year.
does anybody have $150 to go buy the vintage Popeye game for the Nintendo Game & Watch from 1981?
I barely have
If I buy
$1.50.
If I buy any Game and Watch, it's the twofold Zelda or Ice Hockey Donkey Kong.
But apparently, yeah, there's a Game & Watch
Donkey
version
Kong got
of...
hockey.
Diddy Kong
Yeah.
Racing.
Holy shit.
Oh man, Diddy Kong Racing was the best kart racer of the 90s.
Yeah, I prefer Diddy Kong Racing over Mario Kart.
Honestly, I would even say I haven't played much of Crash Team Racing, so maybe that could take it. But Diddy Kong was the best kart racer until Mario Kart DS.
Didn't a new Crash Team Racing come
It was
out
a remake.
recently? Yeah, thought so.
And that was when Activision was complete scumbags and released it with no microtransactions. Got a shit ton of publicity for it, said they were never going to come, and as soon as all the reviews came out, added them to the game.
Naturally.
post-launch.
Wow.
Because Activision just
Yes.
couldn't help themselves.
Yep, that's
Yeah, well, it's
Fuck Bobby
it's
Kotick.
well, he's already quit. Well,
Yeah, he's still
yeah.
got a huge severance pay. Fuck him.
yeah. Fuck Bobby Kovic.
Just actual stuff.
You actually remind me too, because I'm like, wasn't there a Diddy Kong Racing 2? And no, there
was
wasn't.
a DS
There,
remake.
there was thoughts of making a Diddy Kong 2, but it never came
There
to
was
fruition.
there was going to be Diddy Kong Pilot, and that became Banjo Pilot, and then there was a right before, like, Rare was working on a GameCube game where they would like actually ride animals, and then that's when the
That would be
Microsoft
great.
acquisition happened.
Well, I saw an interview, and this was like 5 years ago, so who knows if it's still a thing, but I know that the guy that made Sonic Adventure Battle 2 said that he would love to make a Sonic Adventure Battle 3, but he said the main thing that I want is for all the people on the team to get paid an appropriate wage, and
Yep.
two, I want them to actually pour the amount of money into this game that it deserves, because I don't want to make just a cheap knockoff of what the second one is, and due to those reasons, we will probably never get a remake.
I mean, that's also a huge part of apparently where the discussions broke down with Sega when they were when Christian Whitehead and his team were trying to make Sonic Mania 2. Because Sega just like, maybe
Sonic
we
Mania
shouldn't.
was so good too.
Maybe we don't pour our money into making like the one piece of media in a decade that our flagship franchise had that was universally loved.
Yeah, Sonic Mania was really good.
That actually reminds me of something else too. Because when it comes to Sonic fans, you have 3 different types of fucking fans. You have
there's so many.
Well,
Yeah.
and one of them actually is fucking, so yeah. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No. Well, so because like you have the Sonic fans that liked, you got ones that actually liked Sonic 08. You have ones that actually like those games. You have ones that like the original classics, which is what Sonic Mania did. And then there's like another type of Sonic game, like the one where it turns into a werewolf.
Yeah, there's like
The
werewolf.
one
There's
was
like
so
Boost.
bad.
There's like Boost era Sonic fans, and then
Yeah.
there's like Adventure era, and there's like classic Sonic fans. Like
Yeah, and it's like it's so hard
so
to make a
wild.
game to appease Sonic fans, because if you make a game that appeases these Sonic fans, the other two are gonna hate it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And
So Sonic is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
it's like they've stretched themselves so thin, and like for the most part, like I can find some level of enjoyment in Sonic Forces because like it's awful, it's so stupid, but like look, you get a
Bad
line
in a
where
fun way.
Silver the Hedgehog says despair is a luxury we can't afford. Like
that line
sounds
goes
like poor
dummy
man
I
talk.
hard.
can't not laugh at that.
That goes dummy hard, and I love it.
Like it's the same energy as Shadow the Hedgehog in his own game saying, "This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me."
Wait, no. What about the one line it was Silver
Where's
says
that
in?
damn Force Chaos Emerald?
No, there's one line that Silver says in 08 when you fight him, and he'll
It's
say
no
it on
use.
repeat. And
no
he'll say
use.
it on repeat constantly.
good.
It's like get up on the Hydra's back in fucking Kingdom Hearts. He just says it over and over again,
No,
and then you're just
you-
like, I want to punch you through the
You want to know
screen.
what I heard? 2 things that I heard way too much in Kingdom Hearts was Ursula laughing when she does her tail thing, and then Hades feel the heat when he shoots the fire out of his arms and he's doing that rotary thing.
But also
Shoots it
though,
out like
the
this,
big
just
one
spit.
Yeah,
for
basically
me-
he T-poses when he does it.
the big one for me was the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 1 with Ansem. When he says submit or he
Mhm.
says dark times ahead. Like those are the lines burned into my head, as well as since I played when I played Cage 3 on critical mode, and that was when Square Enix was like, okay, let's make a critical mode that actually like beats you.
Oh my
That actually
God.
beats your sorry ass. At Cage 3
Why would
critical
you do
mode
that
don't
to
fuck around.
yourself?
It but like there's one fight at the end of the game where Sora fights with Riku and Mickey.
Mhm.
And the start of it, the two of them get juked away because you're fighting young Xehanort, Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and Xemnas all at once. And 2 on each side go away, and it starts as a 1v1 and characters keep coming back. And at the start of it, they get juked away, and Sora goes, Riku, King Mickey! And like that read. Because that fight took me like an hour. It's just in my head. And I had like 45 minutes of the meme where every time it starts, I'm like, Riku, King Mickey!
The one that got
Just,
me
like, taunting
that
them.
because I also played Kingdom Hearts, the first one at the very least on proud mode. The one line that I started mimicking after a while because I heard it so much, because you couldn't skip in the OG Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Was Kyrie's inside me? Hated
I thought it was going to
so
be
much.
the one for me in that was, you're not taking Kyrie's heart?
There's no way you're taking Kyrie's heart.
And like, those cutscenes were long.
They were well.
Like,
and,
I
uh,
forgot
Skippable
that was the
cutscenes.
thing.
yeah.
I forgot.
Skippable.
So I forgot that those were unskippable and such because
Yeah.
I played through the game once and that was it, and I never died at all, so never had to go through cutscenes.
Yeah, that's why like the replayability value. Don't get me wrong, Zelda: Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are still some of my favorite games to this day. But the fact that you cannot skip anything after you've played it like twice, the Deku Tree's story about the goddesses and Hyrule and stuff like that, you're like, can we please just
And it's
move
the
the fuck
worst.
on?
It's the worst kind of thing because, like, you can't skip it, and you can't because you have to advance the text. There's no auto advance,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
you can't even like I have older games. I was playing over the summer. I was playing Xenosaga Episode 2 on my PS2, and I forgot that you could skip the cutscenes in that game because even though that game released in 2003 or whatever, it was Monolith Soft has always been incredible game devs.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Monolith Soft. They you could skip them, but I forgot that because I'm thinking PS2 game you can't. And I played like an hour and forgot to save because my brain was just like auto save
Yeah.
and shut it off. And or I might have like jolted my PS2 or something because old console. And
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was just like, oh, I'll just chuck the controller aside and I'll just go make food. Because like I got a 20-minute cutscene here where Junior and Shion are gonna go through unending trauma. I already cried to this once. You guys go
At
suffer.
least give me a snack that
you
I
go
can cry
suffer.
over.
You go suffer. I'm gonna go throw some. I'm gonna go throw some chicken in the air fryer. You go ahead. You go through that trauma, baby girl. It's okay.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned Monolith Soft, and I was like, I know what they did. They did the Xenosaga,
Yeah.
Xenoblade, all those types of games.
Yep.
They also did apparently Dragon Ball Z,
Yep.
Attack of the Saiyans, but they also supported development in a lot of games.
Monolith Soft, and this obviously, I am the biggest fucking Xeno fan. Most
Yes,
people
you are.
know. Like, obviously, I have a bias to them. Monolith Soft is legitimately the unsung heroes of the Switch because
yeah, they are
almost every first-party Switch game, from Animal Crossing to Splatoon to the Zelda games to Smash Bros, they helped.
Yeah.
Even Breath of the Wild in particular, there is an assload of Xenoblade references in that world. Like there's like the Elma Knolls as a reference to Elma. There's something very close to the Satoral region from the first game. One of the weapons has a line that's verbatim one of Metal Face's most iconic lines in Xenoblade 1. Monolith has done so much for the Switch.
It's not even just the Switch too, because apparently they did like Link Between Worlds, which is actually one of my favorite 3DS games, which if you've never seen it, Bricker, because I'm going to assume you haven't, Link Between Worlds actually plays homage to Link to the Past, the SNES game.
Yeah, I haven't played that one.
The same, it's similar,
so
but not the same.
Hmm.
It has a lot of little extra
It's the
things
same
added in.
foundation built on in a different way. It's
Which, by the
Tears
way-
of the Kingdom to Breath of the Wild, but better.
Yes, it is.
All right, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I fucking love Link Between Worlds. Which also, that reminds me, Bricker, one day we do have to do a Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past randomizer.
Yeah,
Do it.
I am
It's the
totally fine.
randomizer
Like
game.
It is the
I
randomizer
haven't
game.
played it for ages. Like I've never even beaten it. I've only played like an hour or two of it when I could get it. From
I've never beaten it
Blockbuster.
either. I got to the point where I got in Link to the Past. I got to the point where I got the Master Sword, and I never beat the game. So I did all three of the main
never
dungeons.
suffered through the Ice Palace.
No, I never suffered.
One
That's
of
one of
these
the
days,
infamous ones.
I want to do like a just completely cracked out, hard as we can make it randomizer, but make
Co-op.
it a co-op. Yeah, and just see how quickly we're able to beat it working together.
Well, you see, here's the best part about doing a co-op like that. It's like, all right, you say
Divide
a kid,
and
I'll go
conquer.
become an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and as we're doing it, we got to make sure we keep our tracker up to date and tell everybody
absolutely.
where we've been and
Yeah.
if we've done everything there, so we can completely nullify those goddamn places.
Ideally,
Especially when it comes to you forgetting about a particular Deku scrub inside of Dodongo.
ideally, what I would like to do is have it so you're like at the bottom right of my screen. This way, yours can still also be seen.
You're always
So
there
you have,
together.
yeah, like this way, if somebody's just focusing on my stream, they can also still see it on yours, etc. That being said, Twitch, please give better mobile support to your platform, please. It is awful.
There's that one
Let 'em
website,
cook.
but I don't like that website because you don't get counted as a viewer.
Oh yeah, the dual streaming one. Yeah,
Like
same.
the Khadgar or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It's cool, but you don't get counted, even though you're technically still watching them because you're watching them through a third-party app. And
Right.
Twitch is like, nah, babe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure YouTube does the same thing, though. You didn't say the magic word. Which, we're gonna have to talk about movies, but what I'm gonna propose to y'all, because this particular one is about right now, we're at about the hour 40-minute mark. Would you want to end and then do another, if you're available, if you need to go to bed or do what you got to do, I understand, but do like another hour and a half and just do 2 episodes tonight?
Don't know if I have time to do 2
Fair.
episodes.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know when my girl will be done work.
Totally
and
fine.
She has specifically asked that I come.
Fair
In
enough.
her words, take care of her because she has been feeling awful.
Fair enough.
She ripped
Belly
out her,
button?
tried to rip out her stomach.
Yeah,
She's been
yeah,
on
no,
antibiotics that have made her quite
Ooh.
nauseous.
Yeah.
Has any of you guys? I know Bricker, you started taking some antibiotics.
Had
You
to,
probably didn't
yeah.
even take some of the harder ones. Parker, have you ever taken antibiotics?
Not. I've taken very little amounts of medication in
Take
my life.
them
The
with
only
food,
time
or you will end up hating yourself. And
Yeah,
I
the world
took
around you.
so I took naproxen when I first started injuring my knees, and I remember one time, and they always said like when I first was prescribed, like my doctor, like he was a pretty laid back doctor, but this was the time he like over the glasses like, Parker, with food, make
Yeah.
sure you eat when you take these, and I think I had like a little bit of food but not much, and like my stomach was on fire and like inside out, and I'm like, I actually feel like I'm
Yeah,
going
it's
to die.
awful.
It's so bad if you don't take particular medicine with food, and
Oh, it's
antibiotics is one of the biggest one. And if
Mhm.
you really want to make yourself like feel better when you take antibiotics, eat some yogurt.
Lady B was saying that.
Dairy stuff is great,
I think it's because
It's
it
a
sits
great
so
way
heavy
of-
on the stomach.
and it soaks up so much of it.
Yeah.
It also has probiotics in your
Yes,
in
that
stuff.
too.
So it has the good bacteria you need. So and since the antibiotics will basically kill all the bad bacteria, you need to eat something good for yourself.
Do you know
Honestly,
the
yogurt
thing?
in general is an underappreciated food.
Fair.
Yep.
Do you know the thing that is messing me up the most though about these antibiotics?
What's that?
I can't take melatonin,
Because it'll just destroy it.
Yep.
and like I have not had a good night's sleep since Sunday.
So,
last.
It's actually really funny. Really funny that you mentioned that too. Before I moved to New Jersey, I used to have to take melatonin every night. Then I moved out here and I was finally able to relax properly. And now I never
Sometimes-
have
Yeah,
to.
a living situation can make or break. Like when I lived out in the
My-
country, I didn't need it, but ever since I moved to the city and the suburbs, I need it.
Yeah,
I
that sounds
mean,
about right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the woman I'm dating sometimes, she's not, without getting too into it, she's not always super stoked on her home living situation.
Yeah.
She has never, unless she just came from like a stressful situation, she has almost never struggled to fall asleep at my place, and she's terrible for sleeping.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time we've slept at her place.
Yeah.
Unless she was already exhausted, she has struggled.
Basically,
to
I
fall
had to
asleep.
force herself
Yeah.
to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yep. It like when I lived out in the country, I think it was because like and the coyotes weren't too bad then, so you know there was very little noise. Now,
Mhm.
granted, I tried going back there when I was house sitting for somebody about 5-6 years ago, and every creak, I'm like, oh, that's a murderer. I'm gonna die in my sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I can't sleep in the country anymore. But ever since I moved to the city, I've always eaten melatonin or some sort of sleep aid. You know where the
Yeah.
worst place to sleep was, though? New York. Awful. There was so much
Oh.
honking. There was so much activity going on. That's why people are
New York
angry in
never
New
sleeps.
York, is because everybody is always honking their horns, keeping other people up.
Nobody in
New
New York
York
sleeps.
never
Literally,
sleeps.
city
It
that
was-
never sleeps.
Awful. Like,
The,
by day 3, I'm just, like, strung out on the bed going, I want a nap!
Yeah, New York is
grew-
it's so bad because I've been living next to it and I know it
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
Just how bad it can
When
be.
like where I grew up I grew up in a small town that basically like went from when I was young from like 5,000 to it's like 2,000 or like 200 people away from being a city now legally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, it's grown a shit ton. It's probably one of the fastest growing towns in Canada. But like I grew up right on the street with like the middle school, one of the busiest streets, and especially when I was in high school, I moved rooms in my parents' house. and my window was basically like ground level facing that busy road. So there was always noises. And there's a church across the street, so like there's always some noise. Since I moved to a different city, my window faces the busiest street in the city. And for those who don't know Alberta's notorious for a lot of people have very large trucks. And a lot of these people with very large trucks are very loud.
They
And
also
it
have
is
those headlights that
always-
shine into your soul at all given
Oh.
times.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
Fuck
well,
everybody involved with xenon
Yeah.
lights. Fuck every one of them.
I'm
You
like,
do
I'm
not
happy
need
that
them.
you can see up my asshole, but I also can't see anything because you just burnt my retinas.
It's so
Dad,
bad.
is that you?
Oh.
My dad would drive that kind of car. I just
Yeah.
want to take a bat out and break it.
Yeah. It's just,
I-
it's so bad.
And honestly, that's not even the worst thing that people do. The worst thing for me, and it's not even that big of a deal, and I don't know why it bothers me so bad. There are so many people who drive pickup trucks around here, and they all have trailer hitches on. None of you are hauling shit. None
It's
of you
possible-
even need the
I-
truck. Why do you keep the hitch on? Frankly, if I'm a thief, I'm not going to steal your truck. Hitches can be like some
Oh, yeah.
multi
Oh my god,
Those
they could be
dollars.
some good money.
Yeah.
I'm stealing your damn hitch because it'll take
Well-
me 30 seconds to get it off.
Well, and here's the issue
out the
that I
pin,
have
yank
with the
it, I'm
hitches.
gone.
The problem that I have with the hitches as well is that you ever been at a grocery store at night and yeah, your shin connects with that and you are ready to burn down the entire parking lot.
It's no longer a hitch. It's now the Shin Destroyer.
It is.
I'm more worried that I'm gonna ding my car on it. Like I don't park near trucks unless I have to. Because I'm like, you have a hitch. I'm
Yeah.
sure you have
You
a
know,
hitch.
that's the one thing I'm
you
not
either
worried
have
about.
a hitch or balls hanging off the back.
I'm
At
more
least
worried
knows I
about.
can't hit my car on.
You can speed bag him.
I'm more worried about people opening the door too hard. Because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure a lot of people are going to open their door and hit the side of my car, and I'm going to look at them
Oh.
and be like, "You're an asshole," and just move on with my life.
So, speaking of that, I witnessed a crime at work, which isn't. I mean, I witness crimes pretty frequently given where I work. However,
Your work is a crime.
it really is. I watched a dude back into, and this is somebody on the maintenance staff, backed into somebody's car, pulled forward, wiped off the dust and like the little scuff that it had, went, it good, and then drove off into the night. I'm like,
All right.
I should probably report that.
It's when I was in high school, there was, and I'm honestly wondering, looking back, I'm wondering there were two guys I went to high school with that were a grade or two beneath mine, and I was driving my parents' SUV, and one of them came to me. I was getting ready for a chemistry class or something. He was like, "Parker, I want you to know that whatever I don't even remember their names, Michael or whatever his name was, hit your car, hit that vehicle because you drive that one." And looking back, I'm like, yeah, you probably just hate him and do it. But I'm like, I went out I went out to my parents' vehicle because it was my parents' vehicle. I'm 16. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Mama Vox is about to rip my head off for this, and I'm like, but like, did he? Did he?
Did he actually?
Like, I'm
Did
like
he for real?
genuinely like, there's no mark, and like because he said that in front of the teacher, she was like, oh, you gotta get the principal involved in all this because he hit and ran, and I was like,
oh no.
and he was like, hey, like when we all pulled it in and we got beside, he's like, hey, sorry, like I really didn't think it was that big of a deal, and I'm like, back in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to handle this because like, if you actually hit and ran, go fuck yourself. Like it's a shitty practice to get a hand of.
Yeah.
But also like, you could genuinely say you didn't hit it, and I wouldn't have looked at that and thought anybody hit this freaking vehicle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what to say here. Because like
That.
nothing happened. Like there was no, like if you left a dent or even like a little scrape or something, like
Yeah, that's different.
eat shit, eat glass.
Yeah. So
But nothing.
I have a story about a situation. So it snowed very heavy, and I slid off into a ditch and took out a mailbox. The people that
Whoops.
lived there were not home, so
Oh,
me
no.
being a horrified 16-year-old, I was a delivery driver at the time, so I always had a bunch of cash on hand. I left an envelope with $100 inside the mailbox, and I said, I'm sorry, I hit your mailbox. I didn't know what to do. Here's money. Bye. And I just laughed after that. A few
Actually,
weeks
you know
later,
what
they
you're-
had a very nice mailbox up.
You know, you actually reminded me of too, because there was a neighborhood that I was in back in Chicago, and if you ever go down that neighborhood, you would notice something particular about the mailboxes. That every single one was covered in bricks.
Because
Oh,
bats. Yep.
Because they're smashing the mailboxes.
it
People
was
would smash
baseball
the mailbox-
training.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what's even better about that though? Have a mailbox that isn't covered in bricks, but is filled with cement,
Yep.
and make them learn a really hard lesson.
Ronifero's dad, he did that.
Oh,
I'm proud of his dad.
oh.
Yeah, like
That is it. Like you are separating a shoulder.
yeah, like to the point that it
And
actually effed up
really-
the snowplow that hit it at one point. Like,
Oh,
Man,
whoops.
well, the man's a diesel mechanic, so like he goes extra with everything he does. So like
Of course.
it was cement, it was like welded at the bottom. Like, man knew what he was doing. Nobody was taking that mailbox out, and the entire mailbox like going up, and the actual mailbox was also metal at some point as well. Yeah, man knew what he
Damn.
was doing.
That's
And he really made sure that anybody
Oh,
who decided
yeah.
to mess with it knew what they were doing,
Mhm.
or knew what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny because I remember seeing all that, and I remember seeing like there were a few different baseball movies that said,
Yeah.
"This is baseball training." It's like, oh shit, ripped out my headphones.
Uh-oh.
Goodbye,
Um,
headphones. Oh, speaking of, I'm gonna actually plug mine back in so I can charge some.
Yeah, we'll have to probably call it in about 5 or so minutes.
Yeah. As soon as Parker finds his headphones,
As
that he
soon as
just immediately
returned-
lost.
He went to the abyss trying to plug them in.
He took the elevator down and never came back up.
Man hit the back rooms and just gone.
God, speaking of back rooms, apparently there's a mod for Lethal Company that can just send you to the back rooms.
Dude, the mods that I've been seeing for Lethal Company have been incredible.
I know, right? One
God, is
second,
he
sorry,
ever-
he just said in the
Oh,
chat.
okay. I'm like, is he coming back?
No, he's good. He should apparently messed something else up. But speaking of that too, like I gotta play more Lethal Company and I gotta mod the shit out of it. And if I do, I'm gonna probably have to export that mod
That's
pack
fair
out
enough.
so people can just download them easily. Which, by the way, it is easy to mod.
Yeah,
mod the game.
I can't remember. I don't
Thunderstore.
remember why. Well, no, I'm trying to remember
Oh.
why I didn't play a couple weeks ago. I feel like it
Oh,
was...
because you didn't realize it was modded.
Yeah, because, like, I didn't know how big the attachments were. I didn't know if it was going to take, like, an hour or 5 seconds kind of deal.
It was
'Cause-
5 seconds. It's basically modding Stardew. But
I was
even
about to say,
easier.
you've played modded Stardew, you know that some of those mods get beefy.
Well, they can be a little funky, but no,
Yeah.
modded Lethal is such an easy thing to do. All you had to do is basically go to Thunderstore, download all the mods within the list, launch it off of Thunderstore, and you're good.
Fair
Also, Parker, what the fuck, buddy?
enough.
Oh,
my
you see
God.
too? No! Oh my god, what
This
a
has
smuff.
been the scheduling conflicts.
Oh god. I mean, you know what? It actually works really well too, that he just suddenly has a scheduling conflict and he has to leave.
No, this is that. Then we would have to change the name to technical difficulties.
Unfortunately, well, I don't know.
I'm
Is there a
sure it's
list?
named. I just looked on where you would find your typical podcast because the plan that I have for this is to go up on YouTube and then a day or two later it goes up to podcast.
That's fair.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
You're good.
We're
You're good.
just
This is
slightly
really
making
funny.
fun of you.
It was really funny.
Oh, I don't like it at all. I'm not. It is not my day. It is
No.
not my day.
No, it's okay. We still love you.
Love you too, boys.
No,
but
yeah. What were we talking about? Because we've already been
Oh,
derailed.
it was the baseball. So like
Yeah,
I watched
yeah,
all
yeah.
the like baseball movies, and I've never seen anyone in Canada, unless it was a farm, have those old style mailboxes. So that was always such a foreign concept because ours and like where I grew up have always been like big, chunky things that have like
Oh, like multiple?
30 individual mailboxes on. So I was
Yeah.
like, if I wanted to do baseball training and I can actually get contact on that, if I ever played baseball, I hate baseball. It's like the worst sport ever. I'm sorry, I hate it.
That's fine as far as I'm
I
aware. People
played
say
for
it's the most
7
boring.
years.
But like,
Well, that
I
explains a lot.
I can't stand it. It's so boring. But I'm like, if I ever made contact, like, I must have arms of steel. If I can actually get that
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
can
follow through.
f you up real bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, I played baseball, honestly, in particular, looks painful if you don't know how to hit properly. Because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I played lacrosse and, like, I've whacked a guy real
Oh,
good. Like,
yeah.
I've slashed a guy and been like, this stung my hands more than it probably hurt them. And, like, you have a guy pitching a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and you're dinging that.
Yeah, because, like, there was one time, when I was in middle school, dude swung for the ball, but when he did, he wasn't used to the weight of that
Yep.
particular bat, and it actually pulled his shoulder out of socket at the end
Yep.
of the swing. And
Yep.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
baseball
you heard
pit,
the crack.
A
Just
pitcher's
a-
shoulder. You're just doing this like 100+ times in a game. Like,
Yep.
there's a reason a pitcher don't pitch multiple days in a row. You are
Yeah,
ruining
Yeah.
it's a lot.
you're ruining your
Yeah.
your rotator cuff.
So it's funny. We have lacrosse, we have baseball, and I did tennis for 2 years.
Oh, I mean, I played a little bit of tennis. Like, I got my lacrosse stick right there, my hockey stick right next to it. I got a basketball down there. I think I got a football in there.
Well,
What other sports
if
do
we're
we
also
have?
gonna,
Go sports!
it's not sports, but I was in marching band, jazz band, classical band,
Yes!
show choir, 2
Nice.
musicals.
Nice.
Yeah, dude,
I had
that's
a
why my
video
knees
game
are so destroyed. Between dancing, marching, and baseball, like, my
Oh.
knees are begging for the end.
I had surgery on both when I was 18.
Yeah,
Mine-
I haven't had surgery, but
Don't do it.
no, my mom did,
If
and
you-
she said that it was the worst pain that she ever experienced.
If you and to anybody, if you ruined your ACL, which if you've played any level of sports and have knee pain, you probably ruined your ACLs. If you're not gonna still play the sport, just don't do it.
Yeah, just
Just don't.
avoid
Just
that sport, and you're probably gonna be fine.
like you can. And I remember the doctor telling me, like, if you're largely living on the couch, even if you're still keeping up like a gym routine and all that, like, you can survive without an ACL. You will live. Don't do it. And I say this as somebody who got into one of the best, like, probably had like a top 5 surgeon in North America do his knee.
That's fair.
I was extremely
don't do
lucky.
it.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
So on that note,
Also,
I
that
think
seems like a great
shit.
time to end.
Yeah, I was
Holy
gonna
shit!
say, like, I think
Don't
that
do
we're
it.
gonna go ahead and end it there. But when do you guys want to, like? Are we wanting to try to do this weekly, bi-weekly? How do you want to do it? Because I want to try to get like a small backlog built up before I start posting.
I might be able to do it weekly. I know Cody, our friend, is going to start doing his D&D campaign again soon, but that's going to be like basically after I'm done playing Dead by Daylight with you on Saturdays, we're going to be going straight into a D&D campaign together kind of thing because of our friend in Norway.
If it's gonna cause too much
Netherlands.
burnout, like
Netherlands.
I don't want that to be a contributing factor.
It should
to
be.
any kind
It
of
shouldn't be any
burnout.
problem.
Okay.
No,
like,
because then I would do
can,
that, and then like, yeah, no, it should be fine.
okay.
Maybe even for now, I should be able to next Saturday as well. Like, maybe
Okay.
we try, just say, for now we try same time next week, and if things come up,
Yeah, because
things come up.
the way that I kind of want to do things, and this is both to anybody that may be listening as well, I want to try to get like a backlog of like
Mhm.
4 to 6 videos, start posting those once a week, while also still meeting with you guys
Yeah.
once a week or every other week. This way we can, keep a constant. We did the
Regular
same thing
stream.
with Pokemon by Daylight.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I
One
guess
day I'll
then
remember my
it's
friend moved to
time for
Netherlands.
goodbyes. This has been Scheduling Conflicts. Once again, I am Bricker Boom.
They
Hi,
call
I'm
me
the baby rhino.
Peacock.
I get to get at the same time. We're
I
idiots.
was so hoping.
We're working on this. It's a work in progress, but we'll see
I'm
you
the baby
all
rhino.
next
Yeah.
time.
Catch you later.